On the corner of LaSalle and Randolph Streets in downtown Chicago stands the old State of Illinois office building. Recently renovated, it incorporates the new with the old, the Beaux-Arts style with the modern. 6 stories above the pavement, mounted on a recessed glass window wall, hangs the Richard Hunt sculpture, Freeform. This program captures the design, fabrication, and assembly of this monumental sculpture and will provide an inside look at the creation of this remarkable artwork. Richard Hunt has been described as a prodigy, a master craftsman, a restless genius, and a visionary. Born on September 12, 1935, on Chicago's South Side, he has achieved international status with the more than 70 large public sculptures he has conceived and created for public buildings and spaces across the United States. On February 9, 1990, the Fine Art Review Committee of the Illinois Capital Development Board commissions Hunt to create a sculpture to be placed upon the recently renovated State of Illinois building. It's a monumental task, suited to a city renowned throughout the world for its ever-growing collection of public sculpture. Its specific site requirements will challenge Hunt's creative design knowledge and skills. Those requirements include very strict design parameters, such as the sculpture's relationship to the recessed glass window wall, light reflection, ice and snow buildup, and the safety of pedestrians 6 floors below must be considered. All of these calculations must be addressed and incorporated into the design of the artwork prior to the final approval of the sculpture. Richard Hunt.
And in this piece, which is very specific in some of the kind of site requirements, that it's on a wall, on a reinforced window wall, curtain wall, high above a street, can't project out onto the street, has to be far enough away from the window wall so window washers can get behind it. So the design parameters are, rather sort of strict. And the idea, was to create something then that was sort of a relief that still had a kind of lively, dynamic presence in that particular space. So those were, some of the criteria, the challenges. And so I started out with just a simple silhouette of the design that then got elaborated into a relief model that was then used to enlarge for the full-scale fabrication.
Recreated to full scale, the as-yet unnamed sculpture will measure 35 feet long and 22 feet high. The 12-inch thick artwork will be viewed from both inside and outside the building and be fabricated of various thicknesses of stainless steel. Because of the engineering and logistical requirements of the sculpture, Hunt determines that a collaborative relationship is needed for interaction between the artist, craftsmen, engineers, and architects. This relates to his philosophy of art being a part of society, which adds to the total creation of the piece. For this purpose, he turns to the sculpture division of K&M Machine Fabricating Incorporated, located in Cassopolis, Michigan. Although large metal sculpture is sometimes fabricated by individual artists, today many professional sculptors are choosing to work with an experienced art fabricator. K&M's 110,000 square foot state-of-the-art facility offers advanced computer-aided design, engineering, and fabrication with skilled craftspeople. K&M will assist Hunt in the structural design of the sculpture. They will also provide project management, work with the architects, engineers, and general contractor of the building and the Capital Development Board of the State of Illinois. Early in December of 1990, Richard Hunt travels to K&M to meet with Sculpture Division Manager Thelda Matthews and Project Manager Dan Van Heusen. Working for the first time with computer-aided design and sculpture, Hunt brings with him a maquette to the scale of 1 inch equals 1 foot. From that miniature, the sculpture's geometry is entered into the CAD system. With the basic outline replicated, The first design elements are confirmed, with the location of the mounting pads already in place 6 stories above street level on the State of Illinois building. Hunt further refines the clay model while consulting with Dan Van Heusen until a final precision pattern is produced. Because of its size, the sculpture will be fabricated in 3 sections. The most complex and heavy of the 3, the center section, is to be produced first. Working closely with project manager Dan Van Heusen, the actual hands-on builders of these sections will be supervised by master fabricator Larry Baylock. With over 40 years' experience in metalworking, he will guide the construction of the artwork. Certified welders Louis Ketchum and Jerry Curtis will work closely with Baylock, Van Heusen, Felda Matthews, and Richard Hunt himself. In December of 1991, the edges of the 5 by 10 foot pieces of 11-gauge stainless steel are arranged according to a nesting plan produced by the CAD system. They are then welded together to produce essentially one large piece of flat stainless steel. Full-scale paper templates are produced and overlaid onto the stainless steel, secured with tape and weights. Using a punch and hammer, points are made every inch around the templates to produce an outline of the sculpture. The stainless steel is cut with a plasma cutting machine. Plasma cutting uses an electrical arc to remove molten metal with a high-velocity jet of ionized gas. The result is a very clean and exact cut. For the curved lines, they use a heavy, pliable 1-inch diameter hose, which is laid along the true arcs. Once the backside is cut, the front side or street side will have elevations and reliefs. A primary backbone piece of 1/2-inch thick stainless steel plate is placed along the center line of the section, with angled ribs offset from the center, supported by gussets. Being a closed box section construction, weep holes are designed into the interior gussets to provide for drainage from any point within all 3 sections. Unwanted condensation occurs in this type of construction. Freezing and expanding water could possibly damage the sculpture. With complete and partial openings designed into the sculpture, Hunt and the engineers are careful not to provide shelves that could become bird nests or debris collectors. To match the chemistry of the metal, stainless steel welding wire is used to weld the entire sculpture together. With the structural backbone and ribs in place, various reliefs and bevels are determined. The outer skin of the sculpture is carefully cut, fitted, and welded to the framework. Many pieces are hand-formed and perfectly mated with the support structure. January 16, 1992. Richard Hunt arrives to review the work in progress. This is the first time he sees his creation manifested into full scale. Accompanying Hunt on this trip is art educator Dr. Stan Medea, a friend from Northern Illinois University.
You know, it looks real nice inside. Kind of shame to cover all this up.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I like, yeah. We'll have to make one like this later on.
Yeah, like you are talking, we just had this, as we go along, we figure things out.
No.
Down here, just then, I tied all that in. Because I know that we're going to be putting that flat piece across, and we're going to need something behind it to keep it.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Put this in and
Yeah.
yeah, we're getting there. These angles are a little tough some of them, but we've,
Yeah.
I see this here, I just migged all that down there. It's
Sure,
not solid
yeah.
wall,
No, but yeah. No,
and,
exactly.
If you want a wall showing, then I'll probably just run a nice TIG up through there and
Yeah.
wire brush it with stainless wire. And,
You know, well, of course, I guess it might make sense to weld it full so you don't get any water in. Yeah.
well, one thing too, it's something to learn is going to work out with you. You know, we put weep holes in there. All
Right.
Water gets in there, go around down to this end, so we need to figure out some way to put the outlet down here.
Yeah.
I told him we could put an elephant's trunk on and just let it run off the side of the building.
Right. Yeah. Well, but I mean, yeah, we can have one, you know, back in these corners, right? Yeah.
Holes on you, maybe 6 of them.
Yeah, right.
Right.
Yeah, right. And
You're bound to get something in there. And
I mean, just
water
condensation is
yeah,
gonna,
that's
you know,
right.
like on a summer day, by the time the sun is on this and then
Right.
cool at night, you know.
Moisture and
Yeah,
everything.
right. No.
Expansion,
Yeah, right.
That might take a little pressure off.
Yeah, right.
inside,
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Yeah, probably wouldn't hurt. You know, we could put actually a couple holes in this plate. You know,
Yeah.
because you don't know, you could end up having a fair amount of water down there, and it could kind of go between one another and out. You know.
As Hunt walks around the center element, he carefully studies the complex interior structures. Dan Van Heusen and Sculpture Division Manager Thelda Matthews arrive at the site to discuss the progress of the piece. They provide a man lift to simulate the viewer's perspective of the piece. While viewing the element from above, Hunt determines that some of the openings need to be enlarged and deepened. This is an example of the refinement of the design as it achieves full scale. The clay model serves as a reference as discussions for design changes develop. March 12, 1992. Mr. Michael Dunbar, coordinator of the Art in Architecture program for the State of Illinois Capital Development Board, arrives with Richard Hunt to view the center section in progress. He discusses all areas of fabrication and design elements with every member of the creation team. Most of the exterior of the piece is now covered and welded into place. This provides tremendous strength so that individuals are able to literally walk on its surface to examine interior details.
First impression is that the scale of the sculpture. When the selection committee goes through the process of looking at the design proposal, you're dealing with a model that's about 3 feet, 3 feet by 3 feet, and we're looking at just the main section of the sculpture, which is probably 25 feet by 12 to 15 feet, and this is just a third of the sculpture. What the hard part about this sculpture is going to be, and what I'm impressed with, is the fluidity that the piece has on this big scale. It's always difficult for sculpture to enlarge the concept or the design proposal from the maquette to the large-scale piece. And part of that is because these little detail areas, like right in here and the curve of this, are so difficult to capture on the large scale. And of course, that's what makes a sculpture successful, is when the fluidity and the compound curves like this maintain their dimension on the large scale, the same dimension that they have on the small scale. And you see a lot of going in and out, and there's, even though this is sort of a one or two-dimensional piece because of the nature of the building, there still is a lot of three-dimensional aspects of it because of this, what I call an edge definition, or the dimension of this edge to the back of the sculpture. It really gives it a three-dimensional quality. And in that regard, you get a sense of the power and the mass of the sculpture, and it truly is as if somebody waved a wand over it and enlarged into the sculpture.
Well, one of the things that's interesting, say, about sort of having a career in sculpture, say, where you work on things on a lot of different scales. I mean, I make small sculpture, I make big sculpture, and I make some, and I have other people make some, is to get a sense not only about what you could do, you know, and what you would do on your own, but given, you know, one fabricating facility or another one, and who's working and how they work. I mean, the thing is, you can get basically the same result, you know, through a lot of different circumstances. And so I'm thinking about, well, what I want it to look like, and what is sort of kind of coming out of the process that's going on here, and, you know, how I may want to intervene a little. I mean, by either making a suggestion at another point as we discussed it, maybe I'll come back and we'll really refit one little form that's not quite like I want, where I might work with them. But in the main, I'd rather just have the thing drawn out of this process that they're already engaged in. So, I mean, I'm thinking about, kind of several ways of approaching, a given sort of little section or problem with a section. And of course, part of process of working with others to achieve your own design is being able to really accurately communicate what it is you're thinking about, and as a matter of fact, even changes in your thinking as the piece evolves too. Not that it has to be exactly like the model, because that's a more mechanical thing than I feel I'm involved in, or that I'm involved in with them, so that the piece is actually growing or being recreated in full scale, with the assistance of the people I'm working with.
July 1992. With the north and south sections nearing completion, Hunt begins the arduous task of surface preparation and grinding. Consultation continues with the K&M creation team as all three elements come together to form the full-scale sculpture. Final surface plates are welded into place by Jerry Curtis and Louis Ketchum on the north and south sections. Each seam must be ground smooth in order to give the appearance of one single piece. The entire sculpture is disassembled and transported to a nearby sandblasting operation, where certain surfaces, determined by Hunt, are given a smooth, flat definition. The intent of the combination of sandblasted and sanded and polished surfaces is to enhance the aspects of height and depth in the relief sculpture. Knowing that the sculpture will be viewed from inside the building, he recognized that people will also view a major portion of the limestone pediment. Because of the dull, neutral surface of the limestone, he wishes to create a transition between the gray, sandblasted backside surface and the shiny street-side surface. The sculpture is then returned to K&M, where final grinding and texturing is carried out. The final phase takes place outdoors in natural light. It is important to see the effect of natural light on the surface, as it will be seen upon installation at its intended site. At 6 a.m. on the morning of August 14, 1993, K&M delivers the sculpture on 2 flatbed tractor trailers. They meet with general contractors Markham Electric, architects and engineers from Holabird and Root to begin the installation. The architectural firm of Holabird and Root were the original architects of the 1928 building and also for the renovation. The first step in the installation process is the assembly of the 3 sections by K&M. With the assembly complete, Freeform stands ready to be signed by its creator, Richard Hunt. At this point, the installation process responsibility shifts from K&M to the building's contractor, Markham Electric. They will lift Freeform into place and secure it to the building. 6 stories above street level, welders on scaffolding and craftsmen await the sculpture. The crane operator gently guides the 3-ton sculpture into place, while guide ropes stabilize the piece from below. With the sculpture positioned on the brackets extended from the window wall, the connecting welds are made and inspected. Freeform stands ready for its formal dedication. September 10th, 1993. Dignitaries gather on the corner of LaSalle and Randolph Streets for the formal dedication ceremony. Freeform did not begin its development as a sculpture with a name or a title attached to a sudden inspiration, but rather as a series of explorations, sketches, and scale models that sought to answer a question. Can a sculpture at its intended site be tall and wide, but without physical depth? Can it have a strong and lively presence on a glass curtain wall, high above the decorated stone entrance of a major public building? The sculpture developed as free within its form as the challenges of the site allowed. Stainless steel became the material of choice because of its own reflective qualities and durability. When a public sculpture begins its process of development without a title, sooner or later there comes a time when it has to take on a proper name. The combined word freeform takes into account the interactive processes of creation and fabrication for which the sculpture developed as an object, and the way its active silhouette contrasts with the architectural structure. Freeform as art and architecture on this site also suggests the proper relationship of creative individualism within the structure and frame of the government institutions housed inside. One of the greatest joys in art is to witness that moment when the artist's personal vision becomes a reality for all. But the greatest joy of all has to come from knowing that a great work of art will outlast the moment, the process, and even the participants.
Throughout the process, the one person that has kept his vision intact has been Richard Hunt. Richard has incorporated each of the design constraints into the sculpture. He has met with each committee and worked through each and every problem, all the while keeping the sculpture true to its original design. One of the great joys of coordinating the Art and Architecture program has been to witness that moment when the artist's personal vision becomes a reality for all. An additional joy has been working with the kindred spirits to facilitate that vision. However, the greatest joy has to come from knowing that a great work of art will outlast the moment, the process, and even the participants. Thanks to the efforts of Richard Hunt and these volunteers, Freeform will stand as a great work of art for the citizens of Chicago and the state of Illinois throughout the ages. Thank you.